IVM.
Do you often dream about leading a more creative life? Whether you wanted to be a painter, a dancer, a cricketer, or a photographer. Maybe you wanted to play games for a living. Growing up, financial responsibilities often take us away from our true passions. Now imagine if you could explore that creativity while still making sure that your family is financially secure. Find a way for the artist and the realist within us to coexist. करो पूरे अपने इरादे, अपनों से किए सभी वादे. SBI Life अपने लिए, अपनों के लिए. To know more about our insurance plans with wealth creation, log on to www.sbilife.co.in. IRDAI registration number 111.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today with us, we have Neha Sahaya for the second time. This is part 2 of our earlier podcast. Now, if you haven't heard the first podcast, please go make sure you listen to that because we are talking about nutrition and we're having a very interesting free-flowing discussion about different things about nutrition, weight loss, hair, skin. So come join in and enjoy the fun. In fact, that's the theory that I used when I started this. So it started off again with the weight loss thing when I was starting in my fitness journey. It started weight loss. And then I said, no, you know what? I think the body, there's a principle, right? Every 7 years, you get a new body because all your cells have been rejuvenated. And all. So I said, what would my perfect body look like 7 years from now? Imagine if I could only give it the right ingredients and let's see what happens 7 years from now. And I think that was what drove me towards moving away from weight loss towards this longevity kind of movement.
No, of course. And I'm telling you, the food that you don't understand the power of healing. And I'll tell you one story, a small one. There was a client of mine and she's a dentist and I met her in a networking party and she was just casually telling me that, Neha, I've been suffering from 7 years of body ache. It was a kind of like a spondylitis, a unique one, which is similar to arthritis. Okay. And from 21 till like she was 7 years, which is very young, she's on steroids and painkillers. Okay. And she I can't get up from the bed. I suffer so much pain. I can't do my dental work because I'm again suffering pain. And, I don't sleep well. I feel bloated. I'm just not happy with my life, And I told her, you have done everything, right? Sheila, I've done physiotherapy, I've gone to doctor. I said, come, let's do a diet. I did a diet recall and in her diet, she ate Maggie, she ate pizzas, she had cereals for breakfast. And I was just like, okay, let's clean your diet. She I can't eat all this. I said, please give me 3 months. What have you got to lose? And you'll be amazed in 3 months. I think she was more amazed. She was off her medicines. Her doctor couldn't believe that she was off her medicines and he didn't have to give her anymore. She had energy. She has become a very big influencer on Instagram currently with a lot of followers. And she is so happy with her life. And that's the magic of food, which we don't realize.
It's a systemic inflammation that we just don't realize is happening to us, right? It is at such a low grade level that it slowly picks up over time. How do you convince people to stop these things? Things that are creating this inflammation in your body. How do you convince them to give up on stuff that they've been doing for years and say, no, this is actually what's causing it?
I think even I have a lot of patience and, going on telling them the exact same thing to keep doing again. So I explain them a lot. I tell them, let's make your system alkaline. Let's, remove certain foods from your diet. And there are people, hum log to itne saal se kar rahe. It's grandmother's thing. I said, grandmother's life was very different. She was moving her body. She was not calling a servant to switch on your TV. It was a very different life. Yes, you need to follow your traditional diets, but traditional lifestyle has only fully changed. So, it takes a lot to persuade a client that, and I also tell clients, even if you lose a kilo a month, in a year, you're 12 kilos down, So I keep telling all this to my clients a lot, I keep providing this kind of small information to them so that, they can improve their body.
So Neha, in passing, you mentioned Maggie, right? And immediately I thought about it. You're a mom. How do you start convincing your children to start focusing on nutrition and food starting from a young age so that they have these habits and principles right in the start?
I'm so glad you asked me this question. So tell me one thing, and I always ask every parent, how did your child start eating Maggie? Did the child ask you? Did it know it existed when it was small? No, you got it in your child's life. So who should be the first one to be corrected is you. So when it comes to my daughter, I don't think she tasted Maggie till she was 4 to 5 years old. First, it was given to her in a birthday party. It's never given by me. I don't give any of the junk stuff because I know when she grows old, she will be eating that, And unfortunately, in our society, when you eat a samosa, people are happy, kha. The minute you take a salad bowl, which is healthy and nutritious, probably they'll be like, are you on a diet? What's wrong with you? You're so boring. But you have to learn not to listen to people and that's exactly what I do with my children. I make sure that they eat clean. I do not introduce wrong foods at an early point. And this whole concept, let's reward with a chocolate or let's reward with something like a burger. Why can't we reward people with something better? Like, let's reward people with a fruit, a nice tasty date ball. Why do we always have to do this whole thing of rewarding with something junk? It's the mindset that needs to be changed. And this is the biggest problem in the parents, not in the child. My parents never got, colas home. So I don't have a taste for colas only. And I don't think they knew it was healthy or unhealthy, but they just didn't never bothered, So if I got it comes very natural. If I have to have it, it'll be a fresh lime soda because, that's what my parents always gave us, So your childhood habits are the one that decide a lot what you're going to eat in the future, The rest is there when you go to university and you do it. It's a whole different theory. But your foundation needs to be strong. And I always urge parents, don't come complaining to me that your child is obese. Don't now try to put them on a diet because you introduced all this, No, your child never asked you for a jam sandwich, chemicalized fully jam. Why are you giving your child a jam sandwich? They didn't ask for it. So it's as simple as that.
Let me add a story here. So last weekend, I was with two friends of mine. One had a 4-year-old daughter, one had a 5-year-old daughter. And one of the mothers had said that, we are cutting down on her Maggie intake. So now she will have Maggie only once a week.
Yeah.
And the other daughter had never heard of what Maggie was. So when we said that we are going to have Maggie today, she was flummoxed. She said, like, what the hell is Maggie? And took one bite and suddenly you could see her eyes explode. There's something, that immediately titillates the taste buds. Never had it. Suddenly was like, my God, where have you been all my life? Right? It's so interesting that we start eating only for the taste and we don't care about what's actually in it and the nutritional profile. I think it's so important that we start thinking about it.
So, what the thing is, taste, it's one of the sins, they say that, eating gluttony is a sin, and I think human race is born with gluttony, let's face it. And obviously a food like, when you take processed packaged food, they are mixed with all things that can make you addictive. They have MSG, they have flavoring, they have sugar and salt combined at a ratio which is quite high, which you don't even taste it, but it's actually there in the product, and that's why the craving and the taste is so much more flavorful because, and I'm not saying healthy food doesn't have that taste also. It does have it, but this has that addictive thing. We all know what's in colas. It's not a hidden fact. They know it's a very addictive product. Some say sugar is more addictive than cocaine also, they say. So these researches are there. But the point is, junk is okay to have. I'm not saying, even if you want to have a Maggie, I'm not telling my client don't eat it. Just put 2 cups of vegetables in it. Let's try to make something and break an egg in it. Put some chicken in it if you're a non-vegetarian. So let's try to, instead of trying to change their childhood habit, which they won't, they are anyways going to open it no matter what diet I give them. Now has started to make sure that they get a little bit of their junk with a whole lot of nutrition in it. So we can find a balance. So my theory is 80% healthy, 20% junk, because it has to happen that way in today's time.
And do you believe junk all at one time, junk sprinkled throughout the week? How do you plan your junk intake?
So this again is a very interesting question. I think it's personal because I think each one has their own personality. There are a lot of people who believe let's eat that one reward meal. I won't call it a cheat meal, but one reward meal. And let's finish all the cravings. So I'll have my burger, milkshake, whatever I want and get done with it and let's get back. Which is again also a lot of research says that when you high carb yourself for one meal, it actually boosts your metabolic rate. A lot of athletes do it before their competition starting. So it does work for some people. Some people like to divide it. Someone like me likes to divide. So if I have a cup of ice cream one day, I'll make sure I'm clean the next day. After 2-3 days, I'll probably have something else. So each one to their own way of living.
Lovely. What are the principles of the things that enter your house and your kitchen at home? Like, what are the things that you've devised as a strategy of these are the things that come in, these will never enter my kitchen? What would they be?
So I live in a joint family. So like most of the Indians.
Oh, this is going to be even more interesting then.
So it's not that simple to change people's thinking and mindset, especially my mother-in-law, who's obviously a certain age, But the only thing I was very, very, very particular about was my oil. So I removed, first thing was refined oil. I think that's the root cause of all inflammation in the body, cause for any particular health issue, chronic disease. And that took time. Servants will also have this. It's expensive. And it did take a while. So, it does still. And I tell them not to reuse, fry. Once you fry the food, don't, dilute that oil and reuse it. It's already rancid, but certain things can't be changed. They feel they shouldn't throw that oil. But at least small changes have happened. We never use now refined oil. We use only cold pressed or double filtered oil in our house.
Which one?
The ghee. So we switch it off. So we keep switching, rotating it. It's either groundnut, it's either mustard, it's either coconut, it's either sesame, and ghee, obviously. So these are the 4-5 oils which are there. So mustard oil, obviously, more when it's cooler because it's a heaty oil. Sesame goes in Chinese. Olive oil is not a cooking oil for Indian food. And please, whoever's hearing this, please don't use it for cooking. It doesn't have a high eating point. So that's used for Western cooking or for salads that we eat. So that's one thing. And the other habit that I try to change is eating early. So because we had so many different members, some ate at 8:30, some ate at 10, some ate at 12, and then they have acidity in the morning, they're taking the pink pill, they're taking all these things to digest, and they're very happy, okay, pach gaya, but it doesn't work that way, So, I always tell people it's not that you have to eat at 6 in the evening to lose weight or that. You have to eat 3 hours before you sleep, which could be if you are 1 o'clock sleeping, I'd rather see you eat at 10 so that you don't open a packet of chips at 1 in the night. So, it's all these small tips I did start giving, but, I'm ghar ka, so the listening is slightly lesser. The outside people listen better to me, I'll be honest about.
Yeah, I was saying that strangers and foes will follow what you're saying. Friends and family won't.
I tell my friends and family to pay me. I'm like, please pay me. I think then you will follow my advice or go to someone else. They're like, why should we go to someone else? And then they start modifying their own diet.
My dad will come and tell me, I heard this on a podcast, Ashdin. And I was like, Dad, I've been telling you this for the last 3 years. Why couldn't you follow it at that point in time? No, now we'll try it, huh? So
it's better than my dad in office. He'll come with some digestive biscuits. See, healthy likha. It's damn good. Beta, try to have as an in-between snack. I said, please read the ingredient list. It has such a big para. After 3 things, what is the rest written? No, beta, superb. You don't know anything. I said, okay, Dad.
There's so many trappings, right, with food and nutrition. Do you think it's getting easier and easier over the years? It's getting more difficult to talk to people about nutrition.
I think it's getting more complicated, and unfortunately, people think they've become quite smart with their limited knowledge because social media, someone will be pointing a finger here, they're saying these 2 things are good. Then they'll call me up and they'll be like, but this one said brown rice, this one said white rice, so which rice should we eat, And I'm like, okay, I will explain you which one you should be eating. So there's a lot of knowledge also out there. So it's a good thing in a way that people are getting a bit aware and conscious. But as I said, there's a nutrition war happening. And I think at some level, it's a business. So it is a bit commercial. So one person will just stand up and say that, I want you to eat your traditional grandmother's food because it's a good selling point. The other one will say that a glass of vegetable juice. So each one has their own selling point in the end of the day. But as long as if the person gets out of the whole thing healthy, feeling fit, feeling energetic, feeling mentally happy, I think then it's a win.
We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side.
Sometimes it feels like all the weight of the world is fallen onto my shoulders. And it usually happens on my downtime while I'm enjoying a nice game of cricket. It's like my family realizes that I'm watching cricket and just rush to ruin it for me then. My mom will come in ranting about some problem with the neighbors. My wife will come in shouting about how we need to redo our kitchen, plus also some problem with the neighbors. And my daughter will come in angry at me because the color of the new car we bought is not what she had wanted, which is apparently the biggest crime a father can commit. Plus, of course, some problem with the neighbors. If only things could be just the same, even if something were to happen to me. Unless www.hdfclife.com, select, done. Things aren't so bad after all. Live calm. With HDFC Life, click to protect life. The Life Protect option protects your family from financial uncertainty. Visit hdfclife.com to know more and for terms and conditions.
Welcome back. All right, let's jump into the conversation. You were talking about hair earlier. I'm just cycling back to that conversation because we missed the second part, which was skin, right? Okay. And I think skin is something that is so important because that is your first visiting card that people see as well when they look at you.
Unfortunately, yes.
That is how actually people are judged. And then after a while, all the things that are not skin deep come out. So what are the aspects of nutrition and skin and how are they related?
So, one thing I always tell when people come for skin, I always say a certain amount of skin is also genetical. It does come. Genetically, some people are blessed with better skin. The other thing I feel is that Indian skin is a bit patchy because of the sun that we have. So, to get that technically very glowing skin is a bit difficult to some of the Indians because of the sun rays is strong and we do get patches of sun burn on our skin. So diet plays a role to enhance the skin. Okay. What damage has done, probably it will help. But as I said, some are genetically blessed, some are not. Okay. Now skin plays what helps good skin. Very simple. Good levels of iron in your body. Again, your ferritin plays a very big role. Your dark, if you have very high dark circles, which are not genetical, is usually iron deficiency. If your skin doesn't have glow, it's iron deficiency. So iron provides basically oxygen to your body, to your cells, and that's what it shows. The nice pinkish skin and the glow is usually because of good levels of iron in your body. Second thing is when people go on a very low fat diet are the ones who have very, so that's one of the only benefit I would say of keto is people's skin becomes quite good in keto, because of the high fat. When you have nuts, avocados, seeds, which are like the best thing for your skin. So good quality fats obviously really enhance your skin. And obviously my favorite is a glass of vegetable juice. You will be amazed, and you obviously have to have it with some sort of fat so that the nutrients, especially vitamin A, gets absorbed for better skin. A glass of vegetable juice with a teaspoon of coconut oil or some nuts next to it is a skin booster. But again, as I said, by just adding these three things and then eating throughout the day wrong food, taking a cigarette and dragging around it, it's not going to help you. So it's obviously again a combination of healthy lifestyle. You're working out, so again you're removing toxins from your body. Again, constipation, which is a very big thing. Constipated, if you're constipated perpetually, it results in dull skin because you're not again removing toxins from your body. Your estrogen levels are not balanced. So yes, so those are the basic factors. Have to summarize it, have good fats, get your iron levels checked, and introduce a glass of vegetables.
Lovely. Last two questions. What are things that you wish your clients came and asked you that they don't actually ask you? I wish people would ask me these things. I could actually tell them these things and, shake them up a little bit about things.
I wish a client came and asked me they want to be healthy and fit rather than just saying, I want to lose weight. So that is one. And I love it when someone tells me that, Neha, I just want to feel good. I want to have great energy and let the byproduct be weight loss and I'll be happy. And obviously, the second thing we discussed, the weighing scale obsession. So I would love a client who came and told me I have an inch loss, but I'm okay with my weight. But I think that's a dream come true. Probably there'll be one in my entire career. And last but not the least, like a client who decides that let's not only be on calorie deficit and let's even try to introduce some form of exercise in our diet, which is beyond a walk if you're a young person. I don't understand why people have to walk at the age of 20s and 30s if you have no particular health issue. I think you can do a little more. You're young. Let's push your body a little to do something better. But again, people are lazy and they want shortcuts. So yeah, someone who comes to me with a good goal and an established goal is much more easier to work with.
I love the fact that this was the first time I think we mentioned the calorie throughout this entire podcast. So, when people are obsessed with calories, is it a good obsession to have? Should people be thinking about calories? Should people be thinking about other things apart from calories? What is the role that calories play in the way that you work with people?
So obviously, to some extent, calorie deficit is a requirement to some extent for weight loss, but that is not the main focus of weight loss. I tell my clients, why don't you look at the colors in your plate and count those rather than count the calories in your plate?
Lovely.
Again, we have apps which, just basically justify a bit. You cannot ever put in an app what you've eaten and it can give you an accurate answer because you don't know how much oil your cook has put firstly. You have no idea the exact quantity of you have eaten. You feel you've eaten 50 grams, but you must have eaten 20 or 100 grams. You have no idea. A chicken breast, is the packaging is written. I'm quite sure the packaging also sometimes is not correct. So, and let's not forget the hormonal imbalance and the absorption by the gut. So it's such a long issue. So as I said, I always tell clients, let's try to eat real wholesome food. Let's remove packaged junk. Let's start with this. But clients will ask me, how many calories are my diet? I say, I don't know. I'm not calculated. They're like, how is it possible? I say, I don't know. I'm not calculated. I've given you real food. Eat. So my diets are basically made on maintaining blood sugar levels. I totally believe in that concept that if your blood sugar levels are maintained throughout the day rather than having extreme peaks is one of the best ways to lose weight because, maintaining that the insulin levels are better balanced. And, as most of the people today have insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, this all is more important than just a calorie in a diet or the micronutrients, is obsession, protein, carb, and fat.
I want to reach across and give you a high five right now, because this is the key part. Because otherwise, you get so calorie obsessed about, this is high, this is low, but you're not looking at what the low calorie thing is doing to your blood sugar. And it's that increase in blood sugar that's actually going to be promoting your fat gain, or at least, your fat absorption, because that's how it gets created. So nobody thinks about these things. How do you get to this point of education with your clients?
It's not that simple, honestly. Some are willing to listen, some are not. The problem is the Western culture has made micronutrient concept a very big concept, the calorie and the micronutrient, these health coaches which are there. And it's there, again, it's a selling point. It sells, it's easier to make okay, you are eating a 14 calorie diet, the client is happy. We are getting to eat everything in this 14 as long as we match 1400, and initially it does work for some people, they do lose weight, but after a point then they have a plateau and then they are like, oh, now we have a plateau, what should we do? But and again, how many calories can you lower beyond a point? So I tell clients, let's lift weights, let's get ourselves metabolically more active, let's burn more calories by just sitting and talking. Like how I'm talking to you, I'm probably burning calories because I have more muscle mass, rather than a fat person. I'm not skinny fat, I'm actually toned, So that's what the knowledge is very difficult to impart. You just need to have a lot of patience, and you can only hope. See, I always tell every client, I'm not your mother, I'm not your teacher, I'm just guiding you, because you are all adults who have come to me. Very few kids come to me, So if you're an adult, you have made a wise decision to come to me, at least trust my knowledge, at least put some faith in me,
Absolutely. Last question. What are some of the habits that you wish everybody did before coming and talking to you?
I wish they just didn't think of, brainwash their mind about nutrition and came to me. I think that would be the best thing, because then if they came with an open mind, I could actually fill them with practical knowledge which could help them for a better future. So that's what I would wish. They come with an open mind and brainwash what they have seen on social media or on articles written by influencers or videos made by them with no knowledge backing them really.
Beautiful. Absolutely agree with you. Clean slate, and then now start drawing on it and applying something new.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Neha, thank you so much for coming on the Habit Coach podcast. How can people get in touch with you, continue this conversation?
Of course, they can find me on Instagram @Neha Sahaya. Visit me on www.nehasahaya.com. Everything is quite easy. It's just Neha Sahaya. So just figure me out. Easier, self-obsessed. So everything is Neha Sahaya.
Superb. Neha, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, IVM, you got the 7-year itch. Congratulations. 7 years of being in existence. Happy birthday to you. So excited, and I'm so honored to be part of this journey with you. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.
Hello. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Storytellers and Storytellers, Vineet talks to Chavi and Mohit, the couple behind Shitty Ideas Trending, about their creator journey. On Big Talks About Tiny Human, Meghna and Devi Shobha share strategies on how to deal with difficult behaviors of strong-willed children. On Pulya Basi, Pranay and Saurabh discuss why Indian students go abroad in large numbers for an MBBS degree. On Probation Se Promotion Tak, Abhinav tells us the benefits of self-marketing through writing for public forums. And on the Life Manifesto, Zarina discusses red flags, how we can identify them, and how we can deal with them. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. It really helps us. Don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms that you're listening to. And also remember, you can check us out on YouTube at www.ivmpodcast.com/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors this week, SBI Life Insurance, Bank of Baroda, and HDFC Life Insurance. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Love fighting?
We've got you covered.
Check out our show, The Fighting Goat, where we, the voices of the internet, Arjun Chipalkatti and Somesh Kamra, bring to you crazy weekly action on your favorite combat show, The Fighting Goat.
Be it commentary, breakdown, predictions, analysis of styles and techniques.
And of course, your round of favorite fighters.
You can listen to us every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, and all major podcast streaming platforms.